Hello from Germany. My family and I just started a vacation here. We just finished up a men's event, and then Chad and Kathy did a church event in Stuttgart, not too far from here. And now we are visiting, my family and I are visiting Susanna's family here in Stauffenberg. And we're going to spend some time together here, and then we're going to travel a little bit with our kids, and it's awesome. Our kids have not had the opportunity to be here and visit this kind of part of our family, the extended part of our family, which is awesome. A lot of folks don't know, even I guess, that Susanna was born in Germany and lived here until she was 8 years old, and then her family moved to the United States. She always tells the story of going to ESL classes. She didn't know any English when she went to Los Angeles, and she was in the ESL classes with a bunch of little other kids trying to learn English, and just that experience. But it's great to be here. It's great to be here with our kids. But I was thinking about something that I've thought about for a long time, actually, and it's something that comes up often. Excuse me, particularly when doing marriage counseling, when talking to couples. And there's a phrase that I hear often, and it's this phrase, I just want to have a godly marriage. I just want to have a godly marriage. Have you ever heard that? I think the heart of that is exactly right. We want to have godly marriages. Often a husband who's struggling or a wife who's struggling in their marriage will say, I just want to have a godly marriage. And they define that a number of ways. They probably define that in terms of praying together and going to church together, maybe reading the Bible together and raising our kids together. And they want to work toward having a godly marriage. As a pastor, as someone who's done a lot of counseling, I've been asked many times, how do I have a godly marriage? What do I need to do to have a godly marriage? How can I create that, and how can I build that? And I think the problem with that phrase and even that idea is that having a godly marriage is a goal that is unattainable. You can't make that happen. You can't. You can't create a godly marriage. You can't make a godly marriage. You can desire one, but you can't make one. Here's what you need to do instead. And I'll give you some kind of passages for this in a second. But here's what you need to do instead. Instead of working to have a godly marriage, what you need to do is work, listen to me, to be a godly person. I'm here, as I mentioned, on vacation with my family and spending time with my wife. And I love coming here with my wife and talking about her childhood and just learning more about her and her family. Her parents are with us this time, which is great. Getting to know kind of more about what happened here and some of the dynamics of the family. It's awesome. And having been married to her now for 21 years, we have what I believe is a godly marriage. It's not perfect. Often we struggle and we have, some of the same difficulties that every marriage has. But I believe we have a godly marriage. But I think that goes back to 10 years ago, 11 years ago, where both of us stopped trying to have a godly marriage and instead tried to be godly people. Ephesians chapter 5 gives us kind of those marriage verses, right? Those are the verses that we go to for marriage. And it talks about the roles in marriage a little bit, and we could expand that and break that up. But if you look at the last part of Ephesians chapter 5 there, the Bible tells wives what to do, and then it tells husbands what to do. And I think the assumption there is that if a husband will do what he's supposed to do and a wife will do what she is supposed to do, then there will be a godly marriage. People will be doing things right. You can hear the cars behind me. Your marriage will be godly when the two people participating in that marriage are living a life that is pursuing God. And here's the thing, you can't make your spouse pursue God. You can't make your spouse want to be more like God. You can't make your spouse read the Bible more, pray more, go to church more. You can't do that. But what you can do is read the Bible more and pray more and go to church and pursue God. And if you've seen the triangle illustration, if God is at the top and the husband and the wife are at each of the bottom corners of that triangle, as you move toward God, you grow closer together and you really develop, you grow that godly marriage. Here's my admonition to you, as someone who's been married for a little over 21 years, or at 21 years, a little over 20 years. My admonition to you is this. Stop trying to have a godly marriage. Stop trying to create a godly marriage. And instead, just pursue God. And let Him create the marriage that He wants you to have.